Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to be previewing the MMA slate for this coming weekend, June 26th. And just kind of a heads up, it is an early lock. I think it's either noon or 1 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure that if you're going to play your lineups in early. Uh, I struggled over this slate for quite a while. First, I thought that there was just going to be a really, really low scoring slate. Then I changed my mind. Then I was locked in on a couple of guys. And throughout the course of the week, I started to update my ownerships a little bit and watch a little more content. And I think I have an idea of how to approach this, but I'm going to just kind of talk through this kind of almost game by game. But first, with respect to the slate, I don't feel as though there's one particular standout situation. In other words, I think there are several that you can argue as things you need to do, like fights you need to target. But I don't think that anything is a wild standout. So what's going to happen is I feel as though this slate is going to really depend on how many lineups you play, and you're not going to feel completely comfortable with your lineups because there are going to be some alternatives that you're giving up, and the one that you're going to be going with is not that much better than them. Uh, Maybe I didn't do a really good job of explaining that, but that's the way I understand it. So I think the way I'm going to start is I'm going to talk about fighters I'm just going to avoid, that if they beat me, then I just lose. Okay. So the first one is probably the biggest favorite on the slate, and that would be Julia Avila. Even though she has really, really great win odds, about 4-1 or something like that, she just doesn't put up enough DraftKings points, in my opinion, to justify her price tag of whatchamacallit. Was it 90 something hundred? It's just not going to work for me, 9,300. And then also, I look the way I rate her on my projections, I have her rated like 11th, 12th with respect to value. So that combined with what could be 30% ownership, I mean, that to me is just a toss. And if she wins and she knocks her out in the first round and she beats me, then she just beats me. The other one, which man is just going to beat me, is Justin James. And Justin James is going to be probably a semi-popular underdog because he comes out and just goes for it in the first round. And yes, it is certainly possible that he knocks out what's his name, Charles Rosa. And again, if he does, I think I'm just going to lose. Just because I feel as though there are just better opportunities in other fights. Then the other thing that I think I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up fading this Nicholas Dalby Tim Means fight. And I went back and forth on this. I really originally thought Tim Means was going to be a really good, solid win odds play. I mean, he's 8,400 and he's very, very likely to win. I think he's probably better than a 140 favorite to win. But again, I just don't think that he's going to score well enough, given the amount of lineups I'm going to play. I mean, I think if you play 50 lineups, you probably want to get to him. But I think in 10 to 20 lineups, I just don't think I'm going to do it. So let's go and take a look at the other one I'm going to have zero of is this St. Peru Boser fight. It's just a heavyweight fight or light heavyweight fight with just not the kind of upside that I need. St. Peru would score well if he got takedowns, and I just don't know if he's got that in him. And Tanner Boser, whether he's unlucky with refs or whatever it is, I just don't see the knockout potential out of him. So he's going to be a fade also. So let's talk about some of these fights. Like right off the bat, I'll tell you another one I might end up losing if it comes in is Medeiros Hadrovich. And I went back and forth on this one too. I originally thought that I was going to probably get a piece of Medeiros as a dog, but I just changed my mind. He just and it's not all about projections, whatever, but he just for me is not going to project to be one of the top plays, and he's going to be a full 20% owned. So I'm not going to do it. Actually, I should clarify, I do have Avila ranked okay in my value score, but just at 30% ownership, I just don't think she has that kind of upside. I just don't. The other one, by the way, I might be a little all over the place. I'll get back to it. I was going to say that Rachmanov, I might not end up getting that much of either, but we'll see. So this Medvedev Hadjirovic fight, I just don't see the upside. Doesn't rate have a good inside the distance prop. I don't feel as though there's a lot of finishing upside for either of these guys, so I'm not going to play that. As I mentioned, I'm not playing Justin Gates. If anything, I would play Rosa. But even he's going to be really, really popular. The first fight that I think I'm going to prioritize is going to be, for better or worse, Ike Villanueva and Prachnio. I mean, this one is just the ultimate, just the two fat guys just slugging it out, and nobody has a gas tank, and one of them is just going to knock the other one out. It's got the best inside the distance prop on the slate, and this is one that I'm going to prioritize. I'm probably going to have all my lineups, or at least most of them, with this fight, and I have no problem taking either side. I think that if my lineups are such that Ike Villanueva fits at 7,200, I have no problem using him, and obviously I have no problem using Prachnio as well. Even at 9K. Wells Alves, this one is again a pretty good inside the distance prop. The thing is, it's primarily in Alves's favor, because Alves is the guy that's going to come out and try to knock out Wells in the first round. Wells is making his UFC debut, so we don't really know too much to expect from him. So it's possible that if Alves doesn't get there in the first round, that he just gets tired and Wells just comes out and wins as a big underdog and as a very short price at 7K. So he could be live as a dog, but he's 35% owned probably, according to at least what I'm looking at. So for me, this might end up being a pass. I mean, it's either going to be Alves or maybe a pass. So Rachmanov, he is 3-1. He's probably going to win. The inside the distance prop is okay, minus 125 under 2.5 rounds. So I think this is actually okay. One thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to play Prazeres. If anything, I'll play Rachmanov. And so if my lineups are such that I can afford the 9,100 guy, I think that this is fine. So this is a fight that I'm going to have a bunch of. This Marquez and Juico fight. And again, I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. The inside the distance prop is okay, but it's kind of cool that it's kind of one of those style versus style fights. Like if Marquez gets what he needs to get done, he's going to be getting a lot of takedowns, a lot of control time, which is really, really strong for DK pricing. So even though the finish prop is not that great, it's good, not that great. Marquez also has that grappling upside. So I think Marquez is a really, really good play. And Kennedy, let's play that. He's a really good play too, because again, if Marquez can't get those takedowns, I mean, Kennedy should be able to enjoy a really big striking advantage and maybe get a lot of volume and knock the guy out. One little trick is that if you do want to play on FanDuel, they reward takedown defense really, really strongly. So I think playing Kennedy over on FanDuel is a really, really good idea, because Marquez is going to be going for all those takedowns. And if in fact Kennedy can stuff them, he's going to get big bonuses for that. As a matter of fact, Kennedy stuffed a whole bunch of takedowns against Paul Craig before getting taken down anyway, but he stuffed a whole bunch of them. So on FanDuel, I think Kennedy could be a really, really strong play. So Moicano, Herbert could be a good, interesting fight to target, because Moicano should win. But Herbert at 6,700 is really mispriced. I mean, he was on the verge of winning his last fight, and then he just got clipped out of just nowhere, pretty much. So again, if Moicano, just doesn't, isn't careful, he could get KO'd by Herbert. So I think Herbert could be a live dog here. But Moicano I like Moicano a decent amount. I think that I would include him in my kind of 9K type fighters, along with Rachmanov and maybe some Alves. Means Dalby, as I mentioned, I'm fading. So Pineda, Feely, man, I was going to do this, Pineda has an insane stat that every one of his wins have been finishes. Every single one. So it's kind of hard to avoid that, right? So I would play both these guys. I would play Feely and I would play Pineda. Pineda's only 7K or so, and you know, I'm in with that narrative. You know, like if he goes for finishes, all of his wins are by finish. It's not like he has no chance to win, and he's only going to be 15% owned. I think that's a really, really live dog. And I do like Feely. He rates as one of my top guys. And he's going to be chalky, but I like that. I'm not playing Valiev, but I might play Barcelos. I think he is, you know, I think he's probably the safest, if that makes any sense, of all of these guys. I think he's really just gonna just school Valiev. He has all the advantages everywhere, and you know, I have him ranked okay. He's 8,800. He's gonna be pretty chalky, but I do like that. I'm not going to play any of Valiev. I mentioned I'm fading Peru Bozer, and Volkov gone. I'm not playing 100% of it. You know, I think that you do have that 5-round floor, which makes it, you know, it's kind of tough to fade these fights, these 5-round fights, when there's no other real incredible, you know, standout play. Like I can't promise you that you're going to get 3 other fights that score over 100 points. But no, I don't think this finishes, and it's not like these guys are real killer, you know, finisher guys. Even if, you know, I don't know, if it went 4 rounds, maybe you wouldn't finish even. So I feel as though this fight, because of that 5-round floor, should be targeted, but I don't feel as though you need 100% of it, like you do in some of these other fights, 5-round fights. Now I do have, just so you know, Cyril Gane is my top-rated fighter overall. So I would probably get more of Cyril Gane than Volkov, but you know, it's not one of those where I say, okay, 50% Volkov, 50% Gane, and then just figure out the rest. I feel as though if your lineups kind of take you there, that you want to play them, but I don't think you need to play 100%. I think what you really need to do on this kind of slate is to prioritize, you know, and just accept the fact that you might be wrong, right? So you prioritize certain fights, like for me, I think it's probably going to be the Villanueva Prachnio fight. This is going to be what I'll probably have the most of, and I'll have some of each side. And then, you know, I don't know, maybe I will prioritize this Volkov Gane fight. I'm not. I still am working on this. I'm just not sure. But I don't think that any fight really needs to be 100% owned if you're playing, you know, 20 lineups. I guess that's the best. I guess that's the best thing I could tell you about this card. The other thing I'll show you again for this video is my projections, which are going to go premium like within like the next week. So this is might be the last time you get them for free. So we'll see. So I do have Gane as the top value on the slate. It's going to be pretty chalky. Then you have Feely, Rachmaninoff. Avila I do have 4th, but she's going to be 32%. I just don't think the upside is there with her. Volkov, if you don't play Gane. Barcelos, and you can see them all over there. Okay, that's pretty much all I have for you. Good luck on today or tomorrow's slate, and let's get it.